as I'm getting closer to this date to go sign up to do this shit, to take this seat from this should be an Oscar-winning Isaac Bryant, but unfortunately his acting is in the role of a assemblyman right now. And first, we were getting people, I was getting a lot of excitement from folks, personally. But gradually start getting reports from other folks who are working with us that there are people upset that I'm about to challenge, that we're challenging Isaac. And, when it comes to that, I don't really give a fuck. Because, again, like I said, people are being massively displaced up out of here. Ain't none of these clowns doing shit about it. And what really started pushing me over the edge, like I've raised up many times, is leaving a baby out here to die, y'all. And to this day, ain't none of these motherfuckers acknowledged, made efforts to change what led to that. And then, of course, what signed their fate was last year when they, stabbed us in the back on the reparations. Then came back this year with the bullshit. So, there are a lot of folks who know only about a third of this district is predominantly black. The other 2/3 is predominantly not only not us, but predominantly those who have racial hatred against us, those who feel entitled to exploit us. And I've had social, experiences in them areas for years. I've made money in those areas, but I've also had a lot of conflicts, both on a personal level, but also with different entities I've had to work with in those areas. Currently, as some of you know, I was in an accident last March. And, from the initial hit to seeing that motherfucker try to drive off and then hit another neighbor car to dealing with all of that shit, I ended up being connected to an attorney. And as of right now, what I will say is it's not looking good. And I guess he's used to having his way with people who came to him as clients. But saying all this to say, he happens to live in the 5-5, District 55. And in past times, we have had to confront these type individuals and engage sometimes in what we call grand closings. Like I said, on more personal levels, before I had more strategic ways of doing shit, I responded a little crazier. But with this campaign, like I said, the attorney I'm dealing with is over there. Another one of our brothers has a shady-ass attorney who's over there. So what we're saying we're going to have to do in these other 2/3, in addition to some of the regular campaigning stuff, is we're going to have to confront this hatred. Because what we cannot allow is, in a district like this, and it's crazy, we just had this whole Prop 50 issue talking about redistricting. But this district is a perfect example of how they put us into districts to co-opt our power, to co-opt our voice, to co-opt what we say, because they put us in the district where it's two folks who hate us here, every one of us, trying to do what we trying to do. But confronting that is where we're going to have to battle. And like I'm sharing with folks, this isn't just about taking this seat from this dude Isaac. The bigger issue is politics that will help sustain our existence in California. Period. Bottom line. And on top of our agenda is reparations. Reparations for American freedmen, first and foremost, descendants of American freedmen who were emancipated from U.S. chattel slavery. And we can discuss everything else. We already been discussing everything else. Now we got to prioritize. And what is so crazy about this mindset of hatred against us? What if the motherfucking Lakers would murder their star player? Beat and lock up their star players every year. That's not the road to a motherfucking championship, but this is the psychotic insanity of America and California, Los Angeles. They have repeatedly oppressed their most productive people, their most creative people. And that is why you see all of this shit collapsing right the fuck now. So that's a bigger, way deeper part of this campaign, where some folks feel we're going to lose people, taking this route. We won't be a threat, but we see the tides are changing. Like I said, socially have connected with folks in these other areas, as far as hustling, doing business, have connected with folks, but also in the protest movement, have connected with many people in this area. And I know Isaac has put on a performance that has kind of wooed some of them, but just like with AB7, some of the same students they took up to Sacramento, one young brother we met over at West LA College, some other folks found our posts on Instagram and were upset that they were fooled, that they were lured into going up there and supporting that bullshit that didn't offer them no financial assistance with school, in addition to supporting the clown who would help block their reparation bills. So all of these things is what we know we're dealing with in these other areas. And again, not going into too much right now, because we know these clowns are monitoring us, as they have been. But just trying to see if we can overall get us to where we can raise our level of consciousness and how we go about politics. What is it supposed to produce? It is supposed to produce a bunch of one-liners to hold down the news all day? Or when you look at those folks who are giving those one-liners and look in their districts and see how black people are doing, that's what real politics is or is not producing.